Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 35 of FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock. Last episode we were working on setting up this new mana generation system using the Gorillamus and the epic bacon that we are producing over here. And as you can see right now the whole system is offline. That is because all of our mana pools are full to the brim with mana, and leaving it turned on would just be wasting epic bacon. We would be throwing it onto these Gorillamus flowers and nothing would be happening. And so what we're going to do in today's episode is start to utilize this mana to create the Elven Gateway. Now, before we do that, before we get into any Britannia during today's episode, I want to start by making some travel anchors, because we're going to be doing a lot of back and forth from here and the crafting terminal. Although we do have the wireless terminal, we cannot craft within the wireless terminal, and so we will spend quite a bit of time going backwards and forwards from our Britannia setup and to our applied logistics system over here. And it's a little bit of a trek going backwards and forwards. It's not too long, but doing it like 5, 6, 7, 20 times over the course of an episode, it takes up quite a bit of time. And so I would like to make these travel anchors, which, for those who don't know, allow you to quickly teleport between other travel anchors. And they're really easy to make. They require no power. They're actually super useful. All they need is 4 iron ingots, 4 conduit binder, and then 1 pulsating crystal. This is kind of the hard bit. The pulsating crystal is 1 diamond tiny electron tube, 4 signalum nuggets, 4 pulsating iron nuggets, and that is it. I'm fairly certain we do already have some diamond tiny electron tubes. I'm also pretty sure we have some signalum. We do. We might have some pulsating iron. We do not. However, it is super easy to make. It's just some iron ingots and some ender pearls together in either the alloy smelter or, in our case, the induction furnace. Actually, I guess we could use the alloy smelter, although we can't because our only alloy smelter is downstairs. I thought we'd have a second one right about there. I must have moved it downstairs. I need to make another one just for this kind of stuff, but that's going to get us some pulsating iron. I'll leave that smelting up because we have more than enough ender pearls and iron ingots to substitute it. And so once we've got those, we can put those into the system, and that should allow us to fairly easily make 2 of those pulsating crystals. Actually, we do need to quickly turn our signalum ingot into some signalum nuggets. Once that's done, we should now be able to make 2 of these pulsating crystals, and then once we've got both of those, I'm also fairly certain we have everything we need to make both of the travel anchors. Nice. So, for the time being, I'm going to have one right about there, right here in front of the crafting terminal. It is above a conduit, but it doesn't actually require any kind of power, so you don't have to worry about that. It does have an interface. You can make it private, protected, you can name it. I'm not going to bother with any of this right now. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the second travel anchor all the way over here, right in the center of our Britannia setup. I'm going to put it right about here. And so now that we've got this, once you stand on it, you can see all the other travel anchors that are nearby. Right now, we only have the one, but in the future, I might set up a few more. Maybe one near the tree farm, maybe one near the blood magic setup, maybe one on top of the mob spawner, just to make it a little quicker to get around the entire base. But essentially, if you're stood on one and you look at another one and it like glows orange, you can press shift, and it will just teleport you instantly to that travel anchor. And that's going to make getting backwards and forwards from our applied logistics crafting terminal back over to our Britannia setup super easy throughout the duration of today's episode. Speaking of which, we need to get this Elven Gateway core and therefore this Elven Portal up and running. So, like I just mentioned, the hardest part about the whole setup is the Elven Gateway core. To make this, we need 4 living wood, 1 primal charm, 1 ender dew, 1 soul of the world, 1 magician's blood orb, which is reusable, and a terrasteel ingot. So we're going to start with the terrasteel ingot because we're also going to need quite a bit more terrasteel for the pylons that are going to go above the mana pool here, and also for the glimmering living wood that goes in between all of the sides here. And so we're going to start by setting up the process in which we create terrasteel. So if we go into the Lexicon Britannia and we type in terrasteel, the way we make terrasteel is using a setup that requires the terrestrial agglomeration plane. And if we go a few more pages over, we can actually visualize this plane. And I think for the time being, I'm going to have it go right about there because it fits just nicely between our current mana pool and the Elven Portal. It doesn't have to be near the Elven Portal, it just needs to be nearby to a mana pool, so you can transfer mana to the agglomeration plate so we can actually create the terrasteel. And so, as you can see here, we need 4 blocks of lapis, 5 blocks of living rock, and then 1 terrestrial agglomeration plate. That's kind of the hardest part about setting all of this up, and to make this, we need 3 blocks of lapis lazuli, 1 block of mana steel, and then 1 of the rune of water, earth, mana, air, and fire, all of which I think we might have, because you may make all of them in sets of 2 or 3. So if I type in rune, yeah, we've got at least one of each of those runes in the system ready to go. So all we need to do now is quickly head on back over to our crafting terminal so we can actually craft this thing up, and then we should be pretty much good to go. Also, apparently you can jump. I wasn't actually aware of that, but I just tested it and it apparently works just fine. So we are going to make the terrestrial agglomeration plane. I don't think we have any blocks of lapis in the system. We do actually, so that's fine. As for the block of mana steel, we already have enough mana steel ingots in the system to make that, so we'll just throw that in as well, and that should very easily get us the agglomeration plane. Nice. So now we've got that, all we need to do is grab ourselves some more blocks of lapis, which we can get fairly easily, as well as some living rock, which of course we have over by our automatic living rock production system, which I have tweaked a little bit since the end of last episode. I should have pointed this out at the beginning of the episode, but essentially all I've done here is replace the normal server with a Signalum server, and what this allows us to do is select the round robin mode over here on the end. You can put it to nearest first, furthest first, random, or round robin, and essentially it decides which inventory it's going to go to first. If you say it to round robin, it's going to put one in each inventory before it puts it in the same inventory twice, if that makes sense. And so essentially it's going to allow it to evenly spread all of this stone to all of the item drop. It's not going to put all of the stone into one block placer and then move on to the next one. It's going to make sure the stone is evenly spread amongst all of the block placers, and that's about it. I also put some more acceleration cards into the ME export bus because that speeds up how fast the system requests the stone. Because previously we were getting like 1 or 2 pieces of cobblestone sent to the redstone furnace over here every like couple of seconds. Now we have like a constant amount of cobblestone being sent to the redstone furnace. Like, it will never run out of cobblestone as long as that chest downstairs is still requesting stone. So that's the tweaks I've made to that. It's now running a little bit faster than it was before. But back to the terrestrial agglomeration plate here. Let's quickly go ahead and get rid of some of this grass. I really need to invest in a better shovel because I'm using a hatchet for a start. That is not what I want to be using. I'm looking for my mattock, which for some reason has ended up back in the system. I thought that was incredibly slow. Here we go. Alright, so once we got rid of all of these, we can put the lapis down in the center of the edge, like so. And then we can grab ourselves some living rock from over here. We now have 443 living rock in that system, which has been generated since the end of last episode. And then finally, we just want to put down the terrestrial agglomeration plane right in the center, like so. And as you can see in the bottom left there, it says structure complete. Nice. So now we need a way to transfer mana from the mana pool to the terrestrial agglomeration plate, and as far as I'm aware, there's no way to do this with mana spreaders. I'm fairly certain that you have to use sparks to transfer the mana. Sparks are a much more efficient way of transferring mana between mana pools and items. You can also use them to transfer mana between mana pools. I did want to use them to transfer mana from this mana pool to these mana pools on the outside because they're a lot less wasteful than the mana spreaders are, but in order to transfer between mana pools, you need to get these augments over here, and you need to have a dominant augment and a recessive augment because you have to specify which mana pool is sending mana to which other mana pools, and so you have to put the dominant augment on the mana pool that's sending the mana, and then a recessive augment on the mana pool that's receiving the mana. And if we look at the recipes for these augments, they require pixie dust, which is made by throwing a mana pearl through an elven portal, which, as you can quite clearly see, we do not yet have, and so currently we are stuck with mana spreaders. However, for the terrestrial agglomeration plane, you can just use normal sparks. You do not have to have any kind of augment. And so let's quickly head on back over to our crafting terminal. I realize I did not use my travel anchors there minutes after creating them to make travel faster, but in order to make these, it is just 2 of any kind of mystical petal, 2 blaze powder, and then 1 gold nugget or 1 golden coin or 1 gold aubrey bush. We're going to use golden nuggets because they are much, much cheaper. Do we not have any kind of petals? We totally do. I'm not quite sure why the crafting terminal did not want to put those into the crafting grid, but as soon as we got 2 of those, we can head on back over to our plate. We can put 1 down above the mana pool just by right-clicking like so, and we can put 1 down above the center of the terrestrial agglomeration plate like so. And now, if this plate requires mana to create terrasteel, it's going to pull it from this mana pool. So, for example, if we go into our system, let's quickly grab some mana steel. We're also going to need some diamonds, and then finally, we're also going to need some ender pearls, because the way that you make terrasteel is by throwing 1 mana diamond, 1 mana pearl, and 1 mana ingot onto the terrestrial agglomeration plate, with about half a mana pool worth of mana, and that will create 1 piece of terrasteel. So, let's get a mana diamond, let's get a mana pearl. Did that not work? let's get a mana pearl, and then once we've got all 3 of those, let's throw 1 of each onto the center of this terrestrial agglomeration plate. You're going to see some particle effects. You will also, if we look at our mana pool here, see that it is decreasing in mana ridiculously fast. You can actually see it visually. I don't need to get my Wand of the Forest out. It is going down very, very fast, and so whilst we are waiting for this, I should probably get a little bit more sand out of the system and start putting some back into the hourglasses so that we can get some more mana being produced by the Gorilla over here. But once it is done, we will get some Terra Steel, and that is how we make Terra Steel, and we are going to need quite a few ingots worth of that Terra Steel throughout the course of today's episode. So let me quickly do something like this. I think the number that I found last episode was 38. Sand is like the perfect time, but just to be on the speedy side, 32 should do fine for the time being. So we've got 1 Terra Steel. That's enough to make the Elven Gateway core. However, if I want to make the full Elven portal, again, if we go back in the Lexica Britannia and type in Alfheim here, the portal to the Alfheim, and we visualize it real quick, we do also need that glimmering living wood, which is these 3 pieces around here. And if we look at the recipe for those in NEI, each one of those requires 4 Terra Steel nuggets. Of course, you get 9 nuggets per piece of Terra Steel, and so we're going to need at least 2 ingots worth of Terra Steel just to make the 3 glimmering living wood that we're going to need to make the portal frame. And so let's see, how much mana do we currently have in this mana pool? Less than half is the current answer, so we probably don't quite have enough to make a second Terra Steel ingot. But what we can do is we can shift right click the spark off of this mana pool, stick it down over here on this one. You can see because this pylon's just a visualization, you can actually still put the spark on there. And so if I was to quickly grab another mana diamond and another mana pearl like so, we should be fairly easily able to get another Terra Steel ingot. So boom, boom, and boom. I think that mana pearl there was a little bit off. We'll try that again, and once that's done, we can take that piece, we can head on back over to our crafting terminal. We can craft both of those pieces of Terra Steel into some Terra Steel nuggets. We can put most of this sand back in the system, and once we've got that, we should be able to make the 3 pieces of glimmering living wood that we're going to need in order to set up the Elven portal. So we'll grab at least 3 of those, and now we can start focusing on the actual Elven Gateway core, this guy over here, which is the hardest part of the whole setup. So to make this, we can make Terra Steel now. We've got that in the bag. We can make living wood. That's fairly easy. Ender Dew is also a fairly easy thing to make. It's just an ender pearl and some clay jars in a distillery. Do we currently have any clay jars in our distillery? We do, and so if we put an ender pearl in there, that should, I think, fairly slowly make us some Ender Dew. Looking at the recipe, it looks like it's guaranteed, and you also might get some more. I'm not quite sure how that works, but it also has a byproduct of a whiff of magic, which is actually kind of useful because we do end up going through quite a few of those. Speaking of witchery, the other item that we're going to need is the Soul of the World, which is made by crafting together an attuned stone, a mandrake root, a rowan sapling, a golden apple, a potion of regeneration, and a redstone soup, which is made with a tongue of the dog, a belladonna flower, a mandrake root, a wool of the bat, a drop of luck, and a redstone. It is the most convoluted recipe in the whole entire world, but the only real hard parts about this recipe are the tongue of dog and the wool of bat, because we've already got the belladonna flower, we've already got the mandrake seeds, we can get a mandrake root, redstone we have in abundance, and then the drop of luck is a mandrake root with a nether wart, with a tear of the goddess, and refined evil, and mutandis extremis. This is like the weirdest recipe in the world, but the tear of the goddess is breath of the goddess with some lapis and a clay jar in a distillery. Do we have a breath of the goddess in our system here? We do, so we'll take one of those. I thought it sounded familiar. We'll also take some lapis and then head on back over here. The Ender Dew should be pretty much done. It is, and we did actually get the whiff of magic as well, which is pretty cool. So we'll throw you in there with the lapis. We'll put that in like that. That should get us this Tear of the Goddess. That's gonna get us the Tear of the Goddess. Refined Evil is Diamond Vapor and a Gas Tear. Diamond Vapor is Oil of Vitriol and a Diamond. Do we currently have any Oil of Vitriol? Let's have a look. Oil. Oh, we do. Okay, cool. I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure we made most of this stuff previously. Actually, we already have some Diamond Vapor, so we can put that away. So To get the luck, the drop of luck, we need the tier of the goddess, which is currently being made. We need refined evil, which is a gas tier and diamond vapor. So let's have a look. Do we? Oh, all of our gas tiers are over in the cache over here, aren't they? For the soul sand. So let's just grab one of those. That should allow us to make the refined evil. Let's see. Our tier of the goddess is done. We also got another whiff of magic, which is nice. We'll throw the diamond vapor in at the top with the gas tier in the middle. That's gonna get us the refined evil. The Mutandis Extremis, which is this one over here, is normal Mutandis and some nether wart in a witch's cauldron. Our witch's cauldron currently does not have any kind of water in it, so let me quickly grab a bucket. Let's see about grabbing. Do we have any Mutandis? We do not, which is a real shame. We should have some nether wart, however, so I will take one of those. We can make some normal Mutandis if we get some mandrake, I believe an egg, and then what's the final piece of the puzzle for making the normal Mutandis? It's exhale of the horned one. Horned exhale. Oh, good, we've got it. Okay, cool. So I'll take that. Let's quickly say hello to the shaggy rabbit. Let's grab some water. If we throw that into the cauldron, now, once that starts to boil, we should be good to go. This recipe is pretty crazy, but we did get some refined evil, so we'll take that. We also got a bunch of other stuff that I'm sure we'll end up using for some convoluted recipe later on down the line. Also, it does require 3 buckets worth of water to fill up the cauldron, so let's just quickly do a second, and then a third, like so. Once that's done, we can throw in our mandrake root, our egg, and our exhale of the horned one. Let's see here, mandrake root, egg, exhale of the horned one. That should get us the Mutandis that we're after. So once we've got the normal Mutandis, we can put that in with some nether wart in the witch's cauldron. That should get us the Mutandis Extremis. And so now let's go back over to the elven core here. Let's have a look. We should be able to get this drop of luck. There's the Mutandis Extremis. Let's quickly fill up the witch's cauldron with 3 more buckets worth of water. And now, let's see if we have what it takes to actually make this drop of luck. It's not even the redstone soup. We've got more to do yet after this drop of luck. But we've got nether wart, we've got mandrake root, we've got tier of the goddess, we've got refined evil, we've got Mutandis Extremis. I think we have everything that we need. So let's bring this down. Let's see. We've got the tier of the goddess. We'll bring that down. If we look back in our system, I'm pretty sure we should have some mandrake root. I'm not quite sure why that turned off there. We are producing at full power again over in our high pressure boiler. It's up at 1,000 degrees Celsius. So this should be running just fine. Also, apparently, the Mutandis Extremis causes slowness. I had like the slowness debuff right there. But anyway, let's grab ourselves some of the mandrake root. What else did we need for this? We've got the mandrake root. We've got the refined evil. We need one more piece of nether wart. Okay, so, moment of truth. We will take out our piece of nether wart. We'll take out just some normal Minecraft nether wart. So we've got that. Let's see if we can get this to work. So, I really hope it does work. Refined evil, Mutandis Extremis. Actually, I think you have to do this in order, which is why they're not going in. So let's have a look. Mandrake, nether wart, tier of the goddess. So mandrake, nether wart, tier of the goddess. I believe it's refined evil. Yeah. And then Mutandis Extremis. Okay. That should, in theory, get us what we're after. However, due to the fact that our altar is a lower tier than it once was, we might have to increase the number of, like, flowers and stuff around this altar in order for it to work. Let's have a look. We've got some Britannia flowers. I don't know if they necessarily help. Do we have any poppies? We don't, which is a real shame. Let me grab some bone meal. Let's see if we can get the level a little higher here. I know if we can get, like, actual flowers around, that's going to help quite a bit. I might even have to get some more trees. It might be like a 3,000 point crafting recipe. I really hope it doesn't, like, there isn't a timer on this. Okay, so way too long later, and I think I have figured out how we can craft this. So, all my stuff is still in the Witch's Cauldron. The Witch's Cauldron has not been moved. Everything else around it, or almost everything else around it, has now been moved because, as it turns out, we have to draw circles on the floor around the Witch's Cauldron using some chalk in order for this to actually work. It's not really indicated anywhere. It's not indicated in any eye, which is a little bit annoying. If we look at the recipe for the drop of luck, nowhere does it did indicate that this recipe requires circles. I even went as far as to make one of the books from Witchery entitled Witchcraft Circle Magic, and this book is also incredibly unhelpful. It shows a bunch of circles, but doesn't mention the drop of luck anywhere that I could find in here. And so I took to the internet, and apparently we have to draw circles around the base of this cauldron using some white chalk. So let me pick up this wheel here and just make sure that's safe. If we look at the recipe for the white chalk here, to make this, we need 1 tear of the goddess, 6 wood ash, and 2 gypsum. Gypsum is made with quicklime and foul fume in the distillery. So let's have a look here. Do we have any foul fume? We do. We've got 1 here and 2 in our inventory. We also need some wood ash, which we can grab as well. We also have in abundance. My system keeps going off over and over and over again. I think we might have to look into getting some power cells to make sure this thing has a reserve of power. I think when we try and access it with the wireless terminal, it's putting too much strain on the amount of internal power that the system can hold. But we'll look into that a little later on down the line. For now, we can craft a wood ash directly into quicklime, which we can then combine up in the distillery with our new foul fume. That should get us, if we look again at the recipe for the chalk, that should get us the gypsum that we need. The wood ash we of course already have, and then the tear of the goddess is a breath of the goddess with the lapis lazuli. We made this not so long ago, and so I put some more birch saplings into the witch's oven. That got us a breath of the goddess. So whilst we're waiting for this to finish, let's quickly go and grab another piece of lapis, and we should be almost good to go, although the system is turning itself off even when I'm not accessing it. But it could be an overall power issue because we do have a lot of stuff kind of hooked up to it now, so we're gonna have to take a look at that at some point. For now, let me quickly wait for the second piece of gypsum to craft up. Once that's done, let's get our tear of the goddess. And once that is done, we should now come over to this crafting table. It can be done in any crafting table, and this one just happens to be the closest by. We should now be able to make some white chalk, and now, or some ritual chalk even. And now we have to draw circles on the floor that look like this. So essentially, I don't know if it has to be on the same level as the witch's cauldron. I did this in a testing world to make sure it worked, and my cauldron was 1 further down, and so, just to be on the safe side, because this chalk does have durability, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to grab some cobblestone real quick, just so that we can, like, build the circles that we're going to draw up by 1 level. So essentially, we want to have chalk on all of these blocks of cobblestone. So all of these, you want to go 1 out like so. If your cauldron's 1 further down, just make sure it's on the floor. But just make sure this chalk is in line with the witch's cauldron. And then the chalk needs to go like this for the first level. And apparently it does not want to... Oh, there we go. Okay, bit of server lag, but that's fine. Make sure you have chalk on all of these, like this, 1 out. Then you want to go 1 further out. So we need to go... I think it's actually... Yeah, we're going to have 1... 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, like this. And then it has to go diagonal by 1, like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, diagonal by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, diagonal by 1, which would be there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we just need to get rid of this chest, or at least move this chest to, like, here for now. Put down another piece of cobblestone there. Also, we probably have to move this chest as well, just so we get some space to put chalk onto all of these pieces. And we really need to set up, like, a dedicated place for witchery if it's going to take up this much space and this much stuff. And also, I should point out that I think it requires 5,000 points in your altar as well, because I had to get this up to 5,000 before it would work in a single player world. Is this quite right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we need 1 more right there. 5. So let's get all of this stuff drawn. So that's all drawn. It's still not working. So we've got the glyphs down all around here. I think we have to get this up to 5,000. So let me quickly see about possibly getting some bone meal or something. It took a lot of stuff to get it to 5,000. I got like a pumpkin. I got a couple of trees. There is a ridiculous amount of like natural stuff around that altar right now to get it up to 5,000. But let's see about getting some bone meal. If we just bone meal the ground around it and get some more like flowers and grass, that should push it over the edge to 5,000. I did also put some more grass down, or some more dirt down, which is spread into grass. But if we do that, that is now above 5,000. Once that crosses 5,000, oh my goodness, look at that. Flipping heck, it actually worked. My goodness, I'm going to stand like right on top of this because I do not want that to fall into the fire and disappear. Whew, okay, that is how you craft a drop of luck. I have no idea how I was supposed to figure that out in game. There are a bunch of other books from Witchery that I didn't make. Maybe one of those tells me there were 4 books over here, but that's how you make the drop of luck. And so now that we've got that, that is just one part of the crafting recipe for making the redstone soup. So if we go back here to the Elven Gateway core, and we again look at the soul of the world, we need this redstone soup, and to make this, one part of that was the drop of luck. We now have the drop of luck, we've got the belladonna flowers, we've got the mandrake, we've got the redstone, we need to get the tongue of dog and the wool of bat, both of which do not have a recipe, but I happen to know the way you get them. The way that you get them is by using the Athena sword from Witchery, which we can craft with a golden ingot, 2 golden nuggets, 1 mana pearl, and then 1 living wood twig. I think we have almost all of that apart from the mana pearl. I'm fairly certain that we do not have one of those. We don't. So let me dump like everything that's in my inventory back out into the system here, because my inventory is getting ridiculously full right now. Let's head on back over to here. Let's quickly grab a mana pearl. This stuff seems to be working again, which is good. All these pools around here are full, which is good. Actually, whilst we're here, what I will do is I'm going to set another piece of terra steel going, because we are going to need quite a bit of terra steel. So let's take this, and let's take our mana ingots here, because I do want to get as much terra steel as I can. And I don't want to waste any epic bacon either. I don't want this mana to go to waste. So let's grab another one of those and another one of those. Let's quickly set up another one. I'll quickly set another one of these going. Oh, I picked that up too quick. And that, okay. There we go. Okay, so whilst that's doing that, let's head on back over to here. We've got our mana pearl. Let's put that back in the system, and let's see about making the Athena sword, this guy over here. I think we should have everything else. We don't. We are missing the living wood twig, which is fairly easy to craft. Once we've got this, we now need to kill either bats or both bats and wolves. Killing bats with it will get us the wool of a bat, and killing wolves with it will get us the tongue of a dog. So let me quickly get some of my epic bacon out of the system here so I can eat. We're going to go through to the nether. The reason we're going to the nether is because I tried to get bats to spawn in the overworld. I created a big dark room below Y level 64, hoping that bats would spawn in there, but they didn't, which was a little annoying. And so I was talking to some other people on the server, and they suggested that I build a platform out here in the nether so that we can spawn some fire bats. I'm just going to fly away a little bit and kind of look in the opposite direction, try and get those to spawn, because apparently fire bats will also drop wool of bat if you kill them with the Athena sword. And I'm not quite sure what's causing the issue on our server with like mobs not spawning. We had a similar issue not so long ago where normal mobs weren't spawning in. Oh, we've also got a dog. I wonder if killing this works in the same way. I should probably eliminate the blazes real quick. I saw that one coming. Flipping heck. I believe the fire bats will also try and attack us, but apparently we didn't get any. Let's try killing these guys with the Athena sword. Is that gonna... It's a hellhound. It's from Witchery, so it could... Oh gosh, that's... You know, just as you get to a point where you could possibly kill them... Come on, come... What is... Ah... Oh my goodness, what is this? We need to put up like defensive walls to make sure that we don't accidentally kill the dogs. Alright, let's fly away again. Let's see if we can get some more wolves or bats to spawn. Oh, it totally worked. Okay, so we got a tongue of the dog. That worked. You can kill hellhounds from Witchery and also get the tongue of the dog. Now we just need to try and get a fire bat to spawn. Hopefully, the fire bat should be a lot easier to kill without knocking off the edge. We just have to get one to actually flip and spawn here. Okay. We have found a fire bat. Now we just have to try and kill this thing in a reasonable manner and also get what it drops. Oh, did we do it? We did it. Okay, so we now have a wool of the bat. I've got a couple of the tongue of the dog, because apparently just killing it with a normal sword also has a chance of dropping some. And I've killed quite a few of them trying to clear this platform out a couple of times over. But we now have a wool of the bat and a tongue of the dog. So if we again look at the recipe here, finally, for the Elven Core. And by the way, again, this is only one part of the Elven Core. We still got all the rest of the stuff to make. But to make the redstone soup. Redstone we have, tongue of the dog we have, drop of luck we have, wall of bat we have, mandrake root I'm pretty sure that we should have. We do. And then as for the belladonna flower, I don't think we have any actually around, but we can make some fairly easily using the seed. Do we have any? Just kind of lying around. Everything's all mixed up now because I pulled one chest from this set and then one chest from that set and put them together over here. So where are my belladonna seeds? I am almost certain that we have some. I'm actually very certain that we should have some. Okay, so apparently the answer was no. We didn't have any belladonna seeds or any belladonna lying around, but with some mandrake seeds and some water artichoke seeds, I bred together another belladonna flower. So now that we've got everything, we can head on back over to our crafting terminal, and we should be able to actually craft this thing up. Now, let's see here. Tongue of dog. For some reason, that recipe is not shift clickable, which does not really bode well for me. It makes me think that this is not just like a normal crafting recipe that I can do in this crafting table, but I guess we will find out. Let's have a look. Look, we want to put you, the little drop of luck there. We want to have the wall of the bat on the bottom left, the mandrake right about there, and then finally the redstone in the top left. And it doesn't work. Where? Oh, it's a kettle recipe? Kettle. How do we make the witchery kettle? Let me quickly take all this stuff back because I don't want to drop it into the system. I want to have it in my inventory. So a kettle is 3 mana infused string, 1 attuned stone, which we should be able to make, but we can't. We need to grab some lava and then quickly craft up another diamond, of which we are going to need a few. Let's go and make 2 more of those real quick. I did pick up the extra piece of terrasteel, by the way, so let me take you and you. We should really... Let's have a look here. Pearl. Get another piece of terrasteel going because we're producing so much mana here. It's crazy. And we do actually need so much terrasteel. It's unreal. So let's go and start another one of these real quick. So let's get our pearl. Again. Boom. 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 We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Whilst we're waiting, let's head on back over to here. So we've got that. We do need to take some string over there, which apparently is not in this system. Again, let me clear out my inventory because it is just full of absolute junk. Let's grab some string from over here. Between episodes, by the way, I will move all of this stuff to a new, like, witchery dedicated place because this is just an absolute mess. There is our next piece of terrasteel. Let's throw in 1, 2, and 3 of those. We still got so much stuff. Okay, let's grab, I guess, another diamond real quick. You know what, let's just make like half a stack of mana diamonds to start to use up just a little bit of the mana that we have there, and so we don't have to keep doing this over and over and over again. And then let's just go boom, boom, boom. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Back over to here. Let's see, do we have what it takes now to make the kettle? We do need a cauldron. Thankfully, we have some iron plates lying around. Let's make 2 more living wood twigs. Once we've got those, we should almost have everything it takes to make the kettle. Nice. Now, I'm going to put this down over here just because it might possibly use the power from the altar to actually craft stuff. So, let's put it down like right about there, I guess, for now. And then how does this work? Okay, so according to the wiki, it has to be placed above fire, so I put some more netherrack down, lit it with a flint and steel. It also has to have water in it, so I've put water in it as well. Let's see, can I now drop items into there? So the redstone's in. This better work, because I do not feel like making any of this stuff again. But we're going to throw everything in. And is that now redstone soup? Do I need to pull it out with some kind of jar? Yes, you have to use a glass bottle, right-click on it, and we now finally have some redstone soup. Nice. So, let's bring this back over to the crafting station. That took way longer than I ever thought it was going to take. We are still super low on power right now, which is really weird. I guess these are all pretty low on power, actually. We should look into rerouting the power, because right now, the power being generated over here is not being used by most of our island. It's still just being used by all of the stuff from Industrial Craft. So we do have to look into that, but for now, let's go back once again to the Elven Gateway core. We need to make the soul of the world. So we've got the redstone soup. We can make an attuned stone if we quickly grab another bucket of lava. We also should go and grab that other piece of terrasteel that we started making a second ago. So let's come back over here. Let's do a quick travel over to here so that we can... Oh, that didn't craft? Oh, did I get rid of the spark? The spark seems to be gone from above here. I'm not quite sure where that's gone, but I guess that's fine. Did I put in the system? I didn't. We can make another one. That's okay. Let's throw in the lava. That's going to get us the attuned stone. We've got the redstone soup. We've got the mandrake root, I believe. Let's have a look here. Mandrake. Yeah, we've got the mandrake root. That's fine. Rowan saplings, I'm also pretty sure that we have. We do. We've got the golden apple. And so finally, the last thing that we need is the potion of regeneration. This is, again, made in the kettle. But we first need to get ourselves a brewing stand. We don't have one in our system, so we are going to have to make another one. That is fine. They're fairly easy to make. We are going to need some stone, but again, that is also fine. We have some in the system. We'll take that. For now, I'll put it like right here next to my other brewing stand. And then we need to get the potion of regeneration. So let's have a look. Which, I don't do a lot of potion brewing. What do we need for this? We need a normal potion of regeneration and redstone, which is an awkward potion, and a gas tier, which is just a bottle of water and some nether wart. So let's take that. Let's grab some nether wart. Let's put both of those into the brewing stand. You can go in there, and you can go in the top. That should get us the awkward potion. We then need to go and grab a gas tier. That is apparently going to make the first potion of regeneration. Then it's simply some more redstone, and that should be it. It looks like it's going to be a fairly easy recipe, which is pretty nice. So let's go. Wait for this to finish. Put in the gas tier. Wait for that to finish. And then put in the redstone and wait for that to finish. And there we go. We now have the potion of regeneration, and we have all of the other items that we need. So we should now be able to make the witchery aspect of the Elven Gateway core. So let's put all of these into here, like so. That looks like the right color. Let's quickly grab a glass bottle, and let's not forget to put in the rowing sapling. That would have been catastrophic. It took us so long to get all of that stuff. Imagine if we didn't put that sapling in. Flipping heck. But that got us 2 souls of the world. And so now all that we're missing to get the Elven Gateway core is the Magician's Blood Orb and the Primal Charm. So the Magician's Blood Orb requires a Thaumium block in a Blood Altar that's tier 3 or higher with 25,000 life points. Also, if we look at the recipe for the Primal Charm, it requires 1 of each shard as well as a balance shard alongside 2 demonic slates. And so what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to quickly grab some more of the golden apples. Our system is still messing up. I'm going to grab some more of these golden apples. I'm going to grab our sacrificial orb, and I'm also going to grab some arcane stone. Do we have enough arcane stone? We do. We got just the right amount. And so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to turn these 2 arcane stone blocks into the 2 slates that we need. I'm going to make a bunch more thaumium ingots so we can get the thaumium block. I'm then going to stand at the blood altar and put 25,000 life points in so we can get the Magician's Blood Orb. And I'll be back in a second. And finally, not too long later, we now have the Magician's Blood Orb as well as the 2 demonic slates. And so, if we come on over to our arcane crafting table with our silverwood wand, we should be able to make the Primal Charm and then finally the Elven Gateway core. Now, to make the Primal Charm, we need 25 of each of the base 6 aspects. Currently, in our Thaumium capped silverwood wand, we have 25 of everything apart from the Terror, but I checked in our aura node over here, and we do actually have more than 25 Terror inside of this aura node. We've got 36. So we should be able to fill that up fairly easily. If I take my jetpack off real quick so we can actually see what's up there, that is definitely more than 25. Let's quickly come over here and shift right click and switch out our entire outfit there to get the maximum V discount for this little craft. And so if we put all, actually, can we shift click this in? That would be so much easier. We can. Cool. So all that stuff's in there. We put in the Thaumium based silverwood wand. We got our V discount, which has taken 5 off of all of the cost. And now we have ourselves the Primal Charm, which we can bring back because it looks like we are missing the Ender Dew, which I'm assuming I dumped into the AE system at some point during today's episode. So if this thing could stay online long enough for this to work, we should be able to make the Elven Gateway core. Flippin' heck, that took so much longer than I thought it was going to take. But we now have it. It's ours. We can grab the glimmering living wood that we have over here, and we should be able to actually make this portal. So the gateway core is going to go at the bottom here. We are a little low on living wood, actually. We need a few more blocks than what we have. But essentially, let me move back a bit. I did take some wireless boosters out of my AE system just to make sure it doesn't turn off as often. So it is using less power now, but the range is also a little bit weaker. But now we got all this stuff. Let me put the cobblestone down here and here. It doesn't need to be there. It's just kind of a building block for me to build upon. Are these the same things? They are. Why are they not stacked? There we go. All right, let's put you there. Let's get our glimmering living wood there and there. Again, we'll put down some more cobblestone once we've got our jetpack back on like so. We can put some down there and there. Oh, no, that's not right. We want to put it there and there with wood there and there. Glimmering living wood in the middle. Let's get rid of the cobblestone and that extra piece of living wood. That does not need to be up there. You do not need to be there, and you do not need to be there. Boom. Boom, let's get rid of the final bits of cobblestone around the outside. And now the final piece of the puzzle for this thing to actually become an actual portal and actually get online is these pylons. So if we look at the recipe in NEI here, the nature pylons are made with ender dew, mana steel nuggets, terra steel ingots, an eye of ender, and a mana pylon. A mana pylon is some golden nuggets, some gold, some mana steel ingots, and a mana diamond. How are we currently doing on diamonds? We've got 30 mana diamonds. I forgot we made a bunch of them earlier on in today's episode. We currently have 2 terra steel ingots in our inventory, and then no more outside of that. So each one of these requires 2, so we're gonna have to make at least 2 more in order for this to work. So let's grab at least 2 more ender pearls. Let's grab 2 more mana diamonds, or 2 more, yeah, let's grab 2 more mana diamonds, and then let's grab as well some more mana steel. We'll take 2 more of you. I did move earlier on. I said I thought I'd lost the spark from on here, when actually I moved it over to here earlier on. I've also moved it now over to here so that we can pull mana from this mana pool, because this one was getting a little empty, and this one was like way too full. It was kind of backing up the system a little bit. But now let's slow down. Let's bring all this stuff to the front here, because for some reason, whenever I try to drop it out, it just doesn't work. Let's quickly make 2 more mana pearls, and then let's see about making some more terra steel. More terra steel. And not too long later, we now have our 4th piece of terra steel, so we can take all of those back over to, I'm not quite sure why there's mana ingots there, but we can take all of this stuff back over to our crafting terminal. Let's throw all of those into there, as well as the mana steel, and let's see about making these pylons. So, for the mana pylons, they should be fairly easy. We can get 2 of those simply like that, and then for the nature pylons, we should have a bunch of extra ender dew. We do, and then for mana steel nuggets, of course, we can just craft up a mana steel ingot like so. That should be all that we need to get the 2 mana pylons. What are we missing in the center there? It is the 2nd mana pylon there. That gets us the 2nd natura pylon. Also, I didn't realize it, but we got a Wand of the Forest trophy. I have to assume that is obtained when you get the Elven Gateway core. So I guess for now we'll put this like there. It looks pretty cool. We'll put the next trophy, I guess, like right about there. Try and keep it as symmetrical as possible. We should still really set up a place for all those trophies. But for now, we'll put down one of our pylons here, the other one over here. And now, if we right-click on the Elven Gateway core, the portal should activate. Should start pulling mana from both of these pools, and look at that. We actually flipping did it. That took way longer than I thought it was going to take. The witchery stuff especially took a lot longer than I thought, but we now have it. We can throw our Lexica Britannia, which we don't actually have on us, but we can throw our Lexica Britannia into the portal. That's going to get us the Elven Knowledge. If we look at it right now, you can see that it just says it contains 1 school of knowledge. If we throw it through the Elven portal, it will throw it back to us. But now, if we open it up, it contains 2 schools of knowledge, because it also contains the Elven knowledge. And if we were to look through the book now, there's a little introduction to the Elven stuff, but there's also a bunch of extra pages in green, all to do with new Britannia features that we've unlocked now that we've made the portal to the Alfheim. We can also throw through things like mana diamonds if we grab ourselves one of those. I think it's a mana diamond. Let me have a look real quick here at, say, Dragonstone. Dragonstone is made by throwing a mana diamond through the Elven portal. You can also throw mana pearls through. That will get you, I think, pixie dust. Let's have a look here. Let's grab an ender pearl real quick. And then let's also grab a mana steel ingot. The mana steel ingot, I believe you have to throw through in pairs. So let me throw 2 mana steel ingots through. If I throw 1 through, I'm pretty sure nothing will happen. If I throw another one through, yeah, we get back an Elementium ingot, which we can use to make other stuff. And then finally, if we throw through a mana pearl, we should get some pixie dust, and we did. Nice. So we can use that to make those augments I was speaking about earlier in terms of the sparks. So we can actually send mana from this mana pool here to the other mana pools via sparks if we wanted to. And we can also use it more specifically to now set up the ritual of the Gaia, which is going to be used to fight the Gaia to get the Gaia spirits, which all links back around to the angel ring that we're trying to make, because in order to get this, we need the thermostatic harness, which requires the fugal tiara, which, as you can see, needs 2 Elementium ingots, as well as 4 Gaia spirits. If we press press control, it will open up the Lexica Britannia here, and the Ritual of the Gaia summons a Gaia, which we then have to fight. In order for this to happen, there is another setup that we have to do. We can visualize it. It's a bunch of iron blocks, a beacon, and then you can see that there are some more pylons here. The recipe for those pylons is a little bit scary. It requires some dragon stones and pixie dust, a bunch of elementium, some more ethereal slates, a nature pylon, and then it's all an arcane infusion crafting recipe, so we're going to get a little bit more use out of our arcane altar over here. But with that, guys, I'm going to end this extremely long episode of Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Skyblock. There, as always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to like. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.